Welcome back to another episode of Jaja's Atelier. So I switched up the set a little bit. The set. You know I shoot in my glam room, but I like it better on this side. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, this side or the other way. And then I also flip the camera around so you can get a full screen. So I'm improving. I'm getting better. How you guys doing? I miss you guys. It's only been a couple of days. I wanted to do a quick episode for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Marc Jacobs fashion show that premiered earlier this week at the New York Public Library. Also, I talked about Men's Fashion Week last week, but I forgot my favorite fucking show, The Loud Show by J.W. Anderson. So we're going to get into that. And also a sneak peek into my latest editorial and the wardrobe inside of it. So let's get today's episode started. So, it's been a trying week for me. The Lord is testing my freaking patience. But it's okay. I'm still blessed and highly favored. I had a little situation with my car last week, and I was turned into something else. So I'm homebound for the holiday weekend, which I really don't mind. The world is getting so crazy. As you guys may or may not have heard, the Supreme Court has done away with affirmative action. Affirmative action is something to help minorities further their education. My father was a recipient of affirmative action back in the early 70s, and it propelled him into a 30-year career in education. He ended up becoming the assistant to the superintendent of the town in New Jersey in which we're from. And I mean, I'm a firm believer in assistance when it's given to the right people and those people take it and run with it, like my dad. So it's really a shame that the Supreme Court is just going out of its way to ostracize and pretty much race bait our country. Also, they have also made it okay for public businesses to discriminate against LGBT people, which I just can't believe we're back here. I just, for anybody who thinks that this is a joke, that it's a game, that your vote won't count, take a look around. This is living proof that you need to get up off your motherfucking ass and go vote. Not just the presidential election, but your town senate, your town council, your alderman, your mayor, your governor, everything. Because this is what happens. And it's almost like it's taking us back, and it's almost like they want to take us back into like Leave It to Beaver days. Like, you didn't see a black person unless they were delivering the milk. Like, what the fuck is going on? What are y'all trying to do? We've come too far for people to accept going back. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a mess. So let's make sure we vote, guys. On to better things, on to happier things. Earlier this week, this is one of the first designers I really got to study and really became a fan of. The legend, the icon, Marc Jacobs premiered his show at the legendary New York Public Library. The show was really quick from what reports are saying. Like, the models sprinted down the runway and he showed all the looks in under a minute. So that was really crazy. I loved the 80s nostalgia. Marc Jacobs completely strayed away from what everybody else is doing and gave us straight up 80s nostalgia. When I first saw it, I thought immediately about Cyndi Lauper, the early days of Madonna, and even Michael Jackson. I loved the sharp ballerina flats. I loved the tights. I loved everything about this collection. I wasn't too crazy about the hair, but it goes with the aesthetic. I don't know. I just had to say that. But Marc Jacobs can do no wrong in my book. I really loved this collection. It was just beautiful. I always love when celebrities take it to, historical landmarks and places of that nature. So I really loved that he had it at the New York Public Library, which is just a beautiful place to have a fashion show. So applause for Marc Jacobs and another amazing collection, even though the show only lasted less than a minute. All right, next. Okay, guys, so I completely forgot to talk about the latest menswear collection for Lau by J.W. Anderson. I can't believe I forgot. Now, I'm going to say something. I am ahead of my fucking time because I have been wearing my pants up to my fucking tits for years now. I love these pants. I love these pants. For those of you that really know me, that hang out with me on the regular basis, that have been like, girl, why is your pants so fucking high? Listen, this is why. I'm ahead of my time. Let me give you some examples. Boop. Boop. Okay. I love that. I love that the pants, just the pants were the highlight for me. I loved everything about this collection, but the pants were really the highlight. I loved that he switched it up. It was also given a little bit of 80s. I kind of thought about, and I'm not saying this to be funny, but I kind of thought about Jimmy J.J. Walker from Good Times when I saw this collection, but like in a more glamorous way. I really did. I don't mean it in a bad way. Maybe my thought process is very basic, like, bitch, that's the first thing that came to mind. But yeah, it is. And I kind of like it. I love it, actually. So take that to all my friends that said I shouldn't be wearing my pants. Hyped the fuck up. It's in now, bitch. I was just ahead of my time. Holla. All right. So, hey. I have been working on this editorial for 2 months now. It's been a journey. I had a photographer that I was working with. I don't know if you guys keep up with me on Instagram. I met this girl at my current job and we hit it off. And her name was Yvette, and she recently moved on. She moved out of town. So I'm going to miss Yvette. We worked really well together. Such a sweet soul. She helped me. She took the pictures. She photographed. She directed. She did such a good job with the first part of the short film slash editorial. And now I'm currently working with a new photographer whose name is Yana. And I'm really excited to work with her. She's 23. She just makes me feel so young. Like, I'm 33. We're like 10 years apart. I asked her, I was like, girl, what year were you born? She was like, oh, I was born in 99. I was like, bitch, what? Okay, I'm old, but I still look good. Ew. But yeah, we had just the best time. So for the next segment of the show, I'm taking you inside my wardrobe for my latest editorial entitled A Scorned Survivor, based off of Angela Bassett's character in Waiting to Exhale. Take a look. Hey guys, so I'm taking you guys on a behind the scenes look inside my wardrobe for my latest editorial entitled A Scorned Survivor, loosely based off Angela Bassett's character Bernadine in the iconic film Waiting to Exhale. So the first look we're going to talk about is this look. This look is going to be the day after look. So if you remember in the movie, there was a time right after New Year's, the day after, where Bernadine found out that her husband was cheating. And, you know, the day after, she took all of his shit and told him to get out, burned it all up in the car. She was just really angry, really just volatile. She didn't really know what to do. She was taken off guard. He did it in such a just a random fucking way. In the movie, her look for those scenes were pretty much like she was a wreck. And so my interpretation of it was to go a little bit more glam. I pulled inspiration from, like, you know, Diane Carroll and Dynasty, and no matter, you know, how upset she might have been in that movie, even though Angela Bassett was beautiful in every frame, her wardrobe for this particular, for these particular scenes for this event in the movie were just, you know, they didn't have to do my girl like that. She could have came out in something a little sexier, I thought. So I decided to go with this. Now, you guys have seen me wear this before. I got this from Pretty Little Thing years ago, And that was before we really knew, like, not to buy fast fashions, but I am a repurposer, so I've actually repurposed this. It's really quite long. I don't know if I can get it all the way in the frame, but it's very long, very dramatic, very luxurious. My grandmother used to wear these, you know, when she was off of work, just chilling or whatever, watching her stories, watching Dynasty. I also added these really cute feathers that I took off of, I think it was like a cardigan I took it off of last year when I was working at Goodwill. I found this really cute cardigan, and I really just bought it for the feathers. But yeah, so I added that, and so this will be that look. The next look I'm going to talk about is this look. This is the aftermath look. This is when things start to calm down for Bernadine. If you see, this look is really loosely based also off of Christy Turlington, a photo of her, I think, in 1994, shot by Arthur Elgort. I really, really love just how simple and chic it was. She had the headscarf on, aka the babushka. Also, I don't know if you guys remember, in the last episode of season 1 in Jaja's Atelier, I took you guys for a thrifting trip. And on that thrifting trip, I found this belt, which it kind of reminded me of Versace from some reason. And my friend Adrian at the time was like, I don't know about that. And I was like, something told me to get this belt. And now look, we are in the Y2K, you know, aesthetic, sometimes combined with, you know, mermaid aesthetic. Ever since The Little Mermaid came out, we've been hearing people rave about this mermaid aesthetic, the long wavy hair, you know, the sexy cutouts. So I was just, again, ahead of my time on this one. And so I'm going to pair it with that. And maybe some really funky sunglasses, because she has a pair of white frame sunglasses in the film. So I'll probably, or in the photo, Christy Turlington does. So I'll probably do that. Now for the next look, this look was really, 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 really extra. It took me forever to shoot this look because it's latex, and latex is no fucking joke, especially not in the heat. So this look I'm using for the look when Bernadine busts into her husband's meeting at the office and tells the secretary, excuse me, would you mind if I had a minute with my husband? Bitch! Okay? I thought in the movie she had a power suit. I wanted to really vamp it the fuck up. If I was Angela Bassett, or if I was Bernadine, and I was in that movie Waiting to Exhale, I would have wore this to slap my husband's belly warmer. Okay? So we have this jacket. I've worn this jacket like 100 times. This is one of my favorite pieces. I love this jacket so much. Again, I'm adding a headscarf, aka a babushka, and the vinyl patent leather skirts. Honey, I could barely walk in this. I have a pair of pants just like it, but the skirt was just insane. I couldn't even get like a whole body video in this. It was like, so that's that look. Now, Bernadine goes through a transformation in this film, and she cuts off all of her hair, which back then was really symbolic. I don't think it's as big of a deal now, but back in those days, it was a big deal for a darker skinned woman to have really, really long hair. And for her to take that plunge and cut it all off and still be the beautiful Angela Bassett that we know and love, even though she was playing Bernadine, I just thought that was so symbolic. And it, at the time, probably went against the grain. In the movie, Loretta Devine's character, who is also a hairdresser, is telling her, girl, all these years of you growing your hair, now you want me to cut it? What, you want me to take a razor to it? It was just like being a black woman and having long hair. It was just like such a thing back then. And so I really wanted to signify that. So I will be wearing a really, really short wig. I'm not too sure about it, but we're going to do it. We're going to try it. Anything's fair in love and fashion, darling. So the breakout scene with the short hair, I will be wearing this vintage Spago collection suit. I've been waiting to wear, I've worn the jacket, but I've never worn the whole suit together. It's very form-fitting, very sexy, but it kind of reminds me of like Hilary Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air back in the day. And also, there's a scene in the movie where, you know, Angela Bassett's like coming to terms with her new normal. And she meets Wesley Snipes at the ball. And she's wearing this sexy outfit. It wasn't really a power suit, but I just thought this was Bernadine all the way. I really needed a reason to wear this gorgeous suit. And what other way than to represent the beautiful legend, Angela Bassett, in this gorgeous Spago collection suit. Now, in the beginning, we all know that infamous closet scene where Angela Bassett's husband says, you know, I don't want you coming with me anymore. I'm leaving you for her. I decided to go with a vintage robe. Now, this look is exactly pretty much what Angela Bassett wore. I'll also be wearing a beautiful French lace negligee, which I just wore for something else, so it's not here, but I'm also pairing it with this vintage robe. And the final look, honey, I'm gonna have to get in close. Vintage Bill Blass tuxedo jacket, men's. I believe this is from the 80s. And then I have this beautiful skirt. You guys can get a close look at that beading. Now this skirt belonged to my mom. She bought it for an event that she was going to with my dad. I think about 30, I think she said like 33 or 32 years ago, probably around the time I was born, actually. So this has a lot of sentimental value. I saw a lot of, you know, looks that consisted of this kind of beading, especially with the Valentino collection, the latest one. So I just really thought it was really, really cute. I'll probably tie it off with a belt. This look is just everything. Vintage. This is vintage to the core. Archive vintage. So I'm really, really excited. I can't wait for you guys to see this editorial. Back to our regular schedule programming. So there you have it. I can't wait to premiere this. There's one look that I'm keeping for myself, and that's going to be kind of like this is kind of like what my cover shot would look like if this was for a magazine. So I'm keeping that on the hush hush, honey. But yeah, so our final topic for today, y'all, I'm so happy. I'm so blown away. I'm so inspired. Drag superstar Bojangles, I think that's how you pronounce it, is fronting the U.S. cover of Harper's Bazaar. Yes! When I saw this, especially, I saw this right after I saw the Supreme Court ruling. And I'm just like, you know what? We laugh in the face of ignorance. Fuck yous. Go scratch, Supreme Court. Especially you, Clarence Thomas. Bitch ass motherfucker. Anyway, but this is just her moment. I'm living for the cover. On the cover, she's wearing Christian Cohen. Girl, I'm not the most familiar with her. I've seen her out and about. I live for her energy. I live for her vibe. And this is just, I just had to give a huge shout out to Bojangles, darling. Because, honey, you served on this fucking cover. It's giving Marilyn Monroe. Again, wearing Christian Cohen. I think the stylist is Sean Mills, I believe. I posted it in my stories earlier last week. So if you go to my highlights, you'll know who the photographer and everything is. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. It's not in my notes. But Yes, huge shout out to Bojangles, darling, for this amazing cover. Guys, that was a quick episode, but I have to get ready because Monday starts Haute Couture Week in Paris, darling. And you guys know that is my favorite fashion week, because this is when the designers really bring it. They really bring the imagination. They really bring the drama. They really bring the sexy, the va-va-voom, the joie de vivre, darling. So I can't wait. I will be updating you guys. I'm going to try to go back to doing it how I did on Instagram for Milan and Paris last year, but I got caught up with work and it just didn't work out. But I'm going to try my best to keep up with it this week and have a video for you guys on Instagram every day of my 3 favorite shows. And then at the end, I will be back on YouTube with another episode of Jaja's Atelier covering all my favorite shows at one time in one place. And yeah. So I will see you guys next episode. Bye.